From the heart of Texas in downtown Austin, going southbound on Interstate 35 to San Antonio, and everywhere in between, Storm starts right now. From the Storm Austin, San Antonio Weather Team, from the Storm Austin, San Antonio Weather Team, your full forecast begins now.
Alright, that's the first time that intro is played before, so it's probably very glitchy, so my apologies about that. Let's see, what's this one do? That just shows you the weather alert. So yeah, my apologies everybody about the glitchiness there. I'm going to play it one more time and see if that glitch is fixed.
From the Storm Austin, San Antonio Weather Team, your full forecast begins now.
Alright, so that's that one. Let's play the alert intro real quick.
From the Storm Austin and San Antonio Weather Team, this is a special weather.
Alright, so yeah, those are new intros that I've created at 12 a.m. last night. So they're a little bit glitchy because this is the first time being shown on air. So yeah. Anyways, good evening everybody. It's 6:02 as of streaming on air. We're starting this new thing now on the Storm Weather channel where I will be live every single night. Maybe not weekends, but almost every single day. We're going to be live in the evening time for an hour, maybe even longer than that, with the latest of your forecasts, radar, cameras, and much more. It starts tonight. I have been thinking about starting it from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., where I do updates of your traffic, your weather, radar, and everything in between. So potentially we'll get that going, but for now wise, for this starting of an hour here, this next hour here will be radar, me doing the weather, or something. So get ready for this new change. But for starters, let's go ahead and break down your full forecast right now. So as we take a look at the radar, we have some storms out there across portions of central Texas. Look at this out in Bastrop County, an isolated shower right now. And it looks like maybe in the downtown portion of the city right now. But that's pretty much what we're tracking right now in Bastrop, and a few little showers as well in Lee County. Let's take a look at your full forecast right now. So as we go ahead and take a look at the next graphic here, this is what's coming up here. Coming up, hot and humid weekend ahead. Very slim rain chances. And this week's weather is going to be very similar to what we're going to be in store, or to have, I should say, next week. All right, your alma back today in the capital city. High of 95 at the airports. Waking up at 76 is where we're at. Camp Mabry at 98, 2 degrees away from triple-digit territory. 78 is what we woke up this morning. Averages is 106. Those years are incorrect, so ignore those years there, but a low of 60 degrees back then. So if we go ahead and take a look at the radar right now in our storm exclusive radar, shows you that little isolated shower out in Bastrop County, which is now fizzled away. Water vapor and satellite showing you low pressure off towards Mexico, staying away from us. Ridge of high pressure dominating our skies. And it's not really eliminating our rain chances. Actually, that's a lie, it is. We're seeing barely any rain. The storms that we see are very short-lived. They're very isolated in nature. That's why we're not seeing a lot of storms. Now, if we didn't have ridge of high pressure, or seeing the strong influence of it, we potentially could see more strong potential energy of storms, but we are not getting that. And for Saturday's weather, as we forward to tomorrow, ridge of high pressure barely scoots off towards the east. It's weak right now, but as it continues to skirt east and northeast, the stronger of the high pressure it gets, the strength increases throughout the next several days. By Sunday, it's well off towards our northeast, and it's still giving us an influence still for the temperatures. By Monday, ridge of high pressure is far from us, but it's strengthening, and it's going to be impacting millions of people in the East Coast all the way to New England. Here in Central Texas, we will still be very hot most of next week, but we will start to introduce a better storm risk almost every day next week. Weather alerts now, heat alerts across portions of the Four Corners region. Heat advisories in East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and other states in particular. Some severe weather in Florida as of this evening. Tonight, a general storm risk for the entire viewing area. An isolated storm is possible. However, severe weather not anticipated. Tomorrow, rain chances are about a 10% higher from what we're having tonight. Tonight at 10%, tomorrow at 20%, then 10% rain chances for Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday. Next 24 hours calls for temperatures to 76 degrees tonight in the capital city. Tomorrow, high of 95, still hot, but the risk for a few thunderstorms out and about, isolated in nature, is there. Your planner for Saturday calls for temperatures in the upper 70s, humid and mostly cloudy, temperatures near 90 by noon, and in 91 by 4 p.m. with a 20% storm risk in our forecast. Your allergies, trees, grasses, weeds are on the low count, and mold was a Maltunaria in the high counts here. And your extended storm 7-day forecast showing you not really a stormy forecast, just a hot, dry forecast, but we do have daily rain chances in our forecast, very low, 10 to 20% shots, and they're going to be sea breeze type activity storms. Very quickly pop up isolated storms. They'll survive for 5 to 20 minutes, and then they'll fade away and die. So that's the moral of the story. Next several days, as we are now in the month of June, where the weather is not super nice. Tonight on Storm Plus and on KATX, that schedule is incorrect tonight. Shifting Gears will not be on from 7 to 9 p.m. Tonight we'll be having, it's Friday tonight, so we got a lot of we have a lot of, I think Fire Country's on tonight, and some other shows are on tonight, so you can catch that live on stream endlessly on our TV network. And of course, if you get connected to my forecasts anytime and on the go on the Storm social page on X or here on YouTube, and of course on my personal socials on Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. So that's how things go with that right there. And if we go ahead and return you back to the radar, you can see that things are mostly quiet for portions of the region right now. Again, it's just cumulus clouds from what we're dealing with right now across the viewing area. But you see that yellow right there, that is an isolated storm out in the Bastrop area right now. We actually go ahead and zoom into that so we can examine this even more. I mean, it's a good looking shower. It's not doing a whole lot though, except for producing some pretty decent rain. Well, the rain's not that decent, but it's a little downpour. And maybe a few little blips of green as well popping up near Caldwell County as well. So overall, that's about it on the active radar. All right, so as I mentioned, guys, we're starting this new thing here on the Storm Weather Channel for the next couple weeks where I will be live every evening between 4 to 7 p.m. with a look at traffic conditions, weather, radar, and much more beginning next week probably. Tonight is kind of just a test phase of everything, and what I mean by that is we're live at 6 p.m. We're not live from 4 to 7 p.m. Tonight I want to do a test of just live streaming for 1 hour. So that's what we're doing right now here on the air tonight. So that's what I got. I will go ahead and let the radar take over. I'll probably look at the graphics maybe, but I'm going to be on standby mode. Catch another forecast update with me at 6:30 as we go in depth on your latest forecast. All right, so I'm Chief Forecaster David Alford, and we'll go ahead and return you guys to the, let's see, what should we do, radar feed? I guess we can do that. So I'll see you guys at 6:30 with another full check of your forecast.
From the Storm Austin and San Antonio weather team, your full forecast begins now. From the Storm Austin and San Antonio weather team, your full forecast begins now. San Antonio weather team. Your full forecast begins now.
Hey everybody, Chief Forecaster David. We appreciate y'all tuning in to our live coverage here of just radar, forecast loop, and that's about it. Yeah, and cameras. That's this new thing. So if you guys saw my latest Twitter post, I was talking about how we're going to start this new thing where we're live every evening from 4 to 7 p.m. with the radar, temperatures, probably cameras, traffic, your full forecast, and maybe some other stuff in between. So something I'm working on, and we'll see how this goes. If y'all like this new thing that I'm attempting to work on or do, let me know. But for now, we'll do this. I'll probably do it for 2 or 3 weeks, see how it goes, and yeah, we'll see how it goes next couple days. All right, anyways, let's get to your weather forecast right now. As we go ahead and take a look at the radar, you can see that we are dealing with a few isolated storms out there across portions Bastrop County. That's about it. It looks like a little blip of a shower maybe in Burnett County from where we're broadcasting at, so that's going to be that's very interesting, obviously, from what we are seeing right there. As we take a look at what's coming up in your forecast, we got a hot and humid weekend ahead, very slim rain chances as well, and a very similar look from what we have this week's weather going into next week. So just a heads up on that. So as we take a look at your latest almanac for today, Austin Airport made it up to 95 degrees this afternoon with waking up at 76, Camp Neighbor at 98. With a low at 78. Averages is 94 and 74, so we were above that for both of these for highs and lows. All right, radar. Not a whole lot to speak of. Just that one little shower out there in Bastrop County. Water vapor satellite showing you ridge high pressure centered itself across portions of Texas, even in East Texas, where we actually have heat alerts, which I'll show you in just a moment. Water vapor satellite for your Saturday, showing you the ridge high pressure skirting off towards the northeast. High pressure will actually increase in strength as it pushes more to the northeast. And as we go into Sunday, ridge high pressure pushes more to the northeast, and that's how it's going to be the next couple of days. The trend will be ridge high pressure moves and moves and moves further to the northeast. But how it's going to go is ridge high pressure is not super strong. It's strong, it's not that strong. And it's not that strong because we're seeing isolated storms. When you have ridge high pressure, like more into the summer, today's the first day of summer, but when it's like more into the summer, no rain can happen. And barely any clouds occur. Well, ridge high pressure is kind of weak, but it's still bringing us a big impact, I guess you could say, to temperatures. Not drastically, because our average is in the mid-90s around this time of year, but triple digits will come soon. As we approach Monday, though, ridge high pressure well off towards our northeast. I wanted to show y'all what the big impact will look like, and you can see pretty much everybody in that dark red color shaded there should have either barely small storm chances or none, and definitely a big warm-up ahead. So where we have the ridge high pressure at right now, that's where we got heat advisories underway, storm outlook tonight, low-end storm risk for an isolated storm or two, like we're experiencing now across portions of central Texas. Rain chances next couple days, tomorrow about a 20%, and it's down to a 10% Sunday through every day this upcoming next week. So tonight, 76, still hot, an isolated storm possible as we approach your day tomorrow. And if we go ahead and take a look at your forecast for your planner, we can have a 77 by 7 a.m., 89 by noon, and then by 91 by 4 p.m. with an isolated storm possible. So something that we'll have to watch closely. Your algae index calls for trees, grasses, weeds in the low count, and mold is in the high count with some Altenaria in that count. And your 7-day forecast here showing you very hot weather next couple days. Ridge of high pressure influencing your temperatures very well into the 90s, mid-90s, and then lower 90s by the middle to end of next week. And that's because the ridge of high pressure is well off towards our northeast. You also notice rain chances, they're very low. It's because ridge of high pressure, it's going to be super strong still, and it's actually going to eliminate our rain chances most likely for Sunday, but they should slowly return every day next week. As of right now, the best rain chance we have next week will be for Wednesday, and that could be about a 20%. So something that we'll watch here very, very closely. So again, that's what things look like on your forecast here in the next couple of days. All right, so reminder everybody, we're doing this new thing now where we are live streaming every single weekday evening, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And every 30 minutes, I will deliver you a brand new, refreshed look of your forecast. Traffic potentially could be included in this as well. Maybe even news, we'll see. And then even your live cameras and much more in the works of this new project I'm working on weekday evenings here on the Storm Weather channel. So again, that's my final update that I have for you guys this evening. Again, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5, 5:30, 6, and 6:30 are my only times where I do a full forecast. So after this, I'm done with the weather for the next 25 minutes. It's just going to be the radar or the graphics looping or cameras. So that's going to be about it. So anyways, I appreciate y'all watching. Again, if you guys like this new project, this new thing that I'm working on, let me know what y'all think. But for now, that's pretty much what I have for now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and return you guys to the graphics. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I don't think we'll do forecasts this weekend. We might, but there's not really a whole lot to talk about this weekend, so we'll see how it goes. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Have a great rest of your Friday night, and have a great weekend.
From the Storm Austin and San Antonio weather team, your full forecast begins now. From the heart of Texas and downtown Austin, going southbound on Interstate 35 to San Antonio, and every